Welcome to another week of training for Berlin Marathon. I was going to say welcome to week and say the number, but I don't know what number this is, but it will be in the title of the video. But welcome to another week. Thank you so much for being here and watching my vlogs. I am starting Monday, perhaps not quite the way I wanted to start it, with 2-kilometer tempo repeats. So I've got to do a 2.5 kilometer at conversational pace, and then I go into a ×2 of 2 kilometer at 4:55. Between 4:45 and 5:05 is the kind of section, with 120 seconds walking rest, and then a 1.5 kilometer at conversational pace to cool down. So it says 2 kilometer intervals today. Make a note of the time you ran for your first 2 kilometer rep and aim to keep that up. Consistent splits is your goal. It is hot today and it's already 10 a.m. It's 24 degrees. I need to start the week on this tempo session though, because I have a really busy week and I'm away for the weekend, so I'm having to cram everything in on specific days, which means that Monday I have to start with tempo, but at least it's going to be done at the start of the week, which is nice. And then I've got a really wholesome weekend at a wellness festival, and my friend Amy and I are going to do my 5.5 easy run together there. Hopefully there'll be somewhere to run, like a nice running route. I know the festival's along a river. So deload week is done, so it's just up from here. So this week my long run is 20k progressive. The week after we go up 25, and then the week after that we go up to the big 32, and then it's taper. I can't believe how quickly it's all coming around, but I guess it's just like a shorter training block. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm gonna blast some music into my headphones, get my sunnies on. I also need to sort out, Cal has some Bose headphones which go clip over the ear, which he doesn't really use, so I'm gonna see if they fit into my ear, because we did have some Shocks ones, but I just don't really like how they're all round the back. They're like the older ones, so let's hope that these don't keep falling out of my ears like they usually do. It's just when I get sweaty, then and then it falls out a bit, and then I try and put it back in, and then it's sweatier, and then it just keeps falling out, especially when I'm running super speedy. But yeah, hopefully they'll stay in my ears for this run. Maybe I'll put some musical theatre on to push me through. Let's be positive. Starting the week, doing something hard, then the rest of the week is going to be easy. Good Monday. But Cal's back from his stag, so got him back, which is nice. Wish me luck. Let's see what paces I can hit with this. I'm going to run to Victoria Park because I've got a 2.5k warm-up, so I can get to Victoria Park in that. And then it's a bit of a nicer part to do tempo in, because you can run in a straight line for ages without any roads and without any turns, whereas if I go to Clissold Park, I'm constantly doing bends and weaving in and out of people and like slight tiny inclines, but I'd still call it an incline. Off to Victoria Park. Okay, warm up and first 2k tempo done. Average 5:01, which I'm so pleased about because it was in the bracket. Was like 4:55 to 5:05, and I did 5:01. I started a lot faster at like a 4:40, 4:50, and then it came down and I was doing 5:15, then brought it back to 5:05. But I'm so pleased. It's so hot. It's too hot to try and talk and vlog whilst running. But yeah, I'm so pleased with that first set. Just in my 120-second walking break, we'll make sure I actually end the walking break on time, and then into another 2k. It's so hot. Guys, I should not be allowed this watch. I accidentally clipped like back lap on it, so then it ended my second tempo lap when I think I was only like 0.7 in. So then I had to kind of just estimate, okay, I think I was about 0.7 in. Let's keep that up until what I think will be 2 kilometers. And now I'm in my 2-minute walking break, but it says I should be in my 1.5 cooldown. I am so bad with technology. Oh my goodness, can't even use a running watch. Let's hope that when we look at the stats at the end, I've got it about right, so that'll be fun to see. But I think my walking break is probably about over now, so I'm just gonna go into my 1.5 cool down and just ignore what my watch is saying. That was hard, but I think I should have averaged around about 5:05 again, so we'll see. So I definitely messed up by doing that back lap thing. The button says back lap, but I think it's basically forward lap, because it just skipped forward to the next lap, which then just messed everything up because I was having to estimate everything that I was doing, and the stats are a little bit off and confusing. So I basically ended up running 8.7k, which is definitely too much. So yeah, I basically ran a bit too much on each section. So you can see there, you can see the walking rest after the first one, and then you can see the next one, and then you can just see like a random extra bit, and then a run, then an extra bit again. So I'm not entirely sure how I calculated it so off, but it's saying I did a 5:46 warm-up, and then the first one was 5:01, and then there's the walking rest, and then it's saying the second one is 5:06, but then there was an extra bit which was 5:01, and then there was a walking rest, but it's putting it as 6:14, and then there's an extra bit at 6:03. So this is the actual breakdown. So I'm not entirely sure what I did and how I calculated it so wrong, but I basically think I pretty much got on. I felt really good the whole run, like it felt really good. I felt confident and strong, and I got within the bracket. I'm saying that this one is within the bracket because it's literally 5:05 was the bracket, and it's 5:06, and the bit after it was 5:01 for 0.4. So I'm calling it that it was in, because the goal was 4:45 to 5:05. There was no way I was doing 4:45 for a whole 2 kilometers. Like, I started out at a 4:40 for a bit, but I could not hold on to it at all, and then I went all the way to 5:15, so there was no way I was holding on to that. Maybe if I was on a track and it wasn't so hot, then I could have, but in the kind of conditions that there was no way that I was holding on to that. But I'm really happy with how I did. Do my electrolyte quickly. I feel like every time you see me have an electrolyte, it's the watermelon berry, but I also have the peach citrus lots. I don't know if I have a favourite between the two, they're both so good. My code is Izzy Sedge for, I think, 10% off. Average heart rate 165, average pace 540, max heart rate 178. I have chosen my videographer for my big challenge. So yeah, that's a little spill the beans a little bit. I will be having a videographer for this big challenge that's happening in October, and there will be a YouTube series on it, which is really exciting. I need to work out how and when I'm going to tell you guys. I need to decide if I'm going to tell you guys before Berlin Marathon or after Berlin Marathon, but there's not much time in between Berlin Marathon and the challenge, and I kind of want, for a certain reason, build up time before I do the challenge. Again, it will all make sense, and I feel very annoying talking to you guys about it when you don't know what it is. Yeah, no, I need to work it all out, but I've got my videographer organised, so now we need to start really properly planning other aspects of it, which again, I can't even talk to you guys about. I need to tell you guys soon so I can chat about it. Good morning, it's Wednesday morning and I'm doing my long run this morning because I'm away for the weekend at a wellness festival. Cal's only got 6k today, so he's literally kind of like running to drop me off at the park to then run home.
I'm feeling so unfit.
Well, you had your long run yesterday, which has killed you off.
I just feel like a shell of a man at the moment.
Don't think the stag do's helped.
No.
So I've got a progressive 20k today, starting with 5.5 conversational. So I'm going to run to Victoria Park again, because I found that like a really good park to try and do speed work around.
Have a good session.
Bye-bye. Right, Cal's dropped me off, he gets to do 3k home, and I've got to do so much more.
It'll be over soon.
17k. Progressive.
You got this.
All right,
see you later.
love you.
Love you.
Right, it's just me now. Oh, let's go. Still another like 2k of conversational. We are now into our 5.5 at 5:45. This is feeling good. I'm hot, but I managed to hold it. I'm kind of averaging about 5:40 at the moment. But I imagine as we get further towards the end of the 5.5 kilometres, we'll probably drop a little bit, but feeling good so far. Oh. I am 5k off finishing, and I just did a slight turn to go towards the water fountain, and like kind of went really funny. My ankle like twisted it out and round, and it really hurts. So I'm just walking it off for a second. This run has been very stop-start for water and walking it off. It is so hot, so I'm constantly trying to get as much water down me as possible and walk off a little bit before going again. 20k. We're almost there, 5k to go. Let's just walk this ankle off and then get that last 5k done. I've got 3k and then a 2k, so I've got 2k left at a 5:30 and then 3k 5:20. We're going for around that sort of pace. Doing a long run on a Wednesday is so confusing because I now feel as if it's Sunday, but I have a whole half of a week ahead of me. That was really tough. The heat was making things really, really hard for me. I don't know why I'm holding my lunch as if I'm about to showcase it. It is Thrive, which Cal and I have been ordering, but I think I'm gonna cancel now actually. It just keeps sending me sweet potato curries or bean curries, and I now don't think I want to eat a curry ever again because every week it's just curries. That is literally the only vegan option, and I've had enough, honestly. So no more Thrive, no more curries. I will eat that in a second. It's cooling down from the microwave. Actually, I don't need to be presenting it to you guys. So let's go through the stats of that run. I had to stop a lot of times because the heat was just excessive. I was having to drink so much water, but I am of the opinion that it is fine to stop on your long runs in your training, because for your long runs in training, you don't have the adrenaline of race day. You don't have the crowds cheering you on. So if you stop, I think that's absolutely fine. I don't think that's going to taint your training. I mean, I'm not an expert. Maybe it has a slight impact on race day and your stamina or whatever. I don't really know, but for me personally, I allow myself to stop on long runs if I want to. I know there's a lot of people that say that you shouldn't stop, you shouldn't walk, you shouldn't whatever, but I honestly don't think it's going to have that much impact. And if you want to stop, listen to your body and stop, is my opinion. So yeah, I stopped, walked a bit, stopped, had some water, I stopped, went to the loo, and yeah, just stopped and composed myself a couple times, because 20k is a long way to run. It's just a long way to run, a whole 20k. I was running for nearly 2 hours, 1 hour 56. My average pace was 5:48, and I ran 20.02, but 20k. So the plan was 5.5k at conversational, 5.5 at 5:45, 6k at 5:30, and 3k at 5:25. Here are my laps. I've got so lazy with it now, rather than screenshotting it added to the screen, it's just so much easier. So there are my laps. You can see I hit most of them apart from the last one. So I did a 6:01 for the warm-up, which was the 5.5 conversational. I then hit a 5:43 for the 5.5 at 5:45. I then hit a 5:35 for the 6k at 5:30, but that's still in kind of the bandwidth of pace. And then the 3k at 5:25, I did at 6:02 because I decided I wanted to do a 3k cool down to get home. I didn't want to do 3k at 5:25. By that point, I had run, let's do some quick maths, 2019, 17. I had run 17k in the heat, progressive, and I didn't have it in my locker, physically or mentally, to drop down to a 5:25 for 3k to get home. So yeah, give myself a cool down. But that was a really hard run, and also towards the end, I was running straight and I darted kind of right to go to the water fountain and kind of semi-twisted my ankle. That was just like another excuse for me to do the last 3k as a cool down. But yeah, long runs are really hard. Long runs are really hard. I think when you're in a training block, you kind of are numb to the distances that you're running, but then when you actually stop and think about it, I just on a Wednesday morning just casually ran 20k, so basically a half marathon, which is pretty crazy, I think. I keep saying in my opinion, I just think in anyone's opinion, running 20k on a random morning is a bit crazy. Oh my goodness. Saying my best pace was 4:15, which is pretty cool. I think that must have been at the very start, because sometimes I just go into it really fast and then slow down and realise what pace I'm actually going at. Whoa, that's so cool. Estimated sweat loss. Nearly 2,000 millilitres. Cow, did you know that?
What?
On your Garmin it says estimated sweat loss.
No.
And mine says 1,939 millilitres. That's crazy.
Does it say sodium loss though?
Just says estimated sweat loss. That's mad. No wonder I was having to stop drinking so much water. Average heart rate, 159. Max heart rate, 173. I'm going to try and do my long run next week without a break because it's not progressive or it doesn't have any speed work in it. It's an easy run. So I'm going to try and see if I can easy run without stopping. But just fancy loads of stops this week is what it is. I did a post this week about my non-negotiables for my training blocks. I thought I would go through it in more detail. The first one was prehab to avoid rehab. So this is something I'm really focusing on this training block because I literally didn't do it last training block, which is kind of strength work, mobilization, stretching, rolling, all of that sort of stuff to help you avoid injury. So I have 2 training sessions a week and I also have a prehab session that Paige sets up for me, and I do rolling and things like that. You're actually the camera. I'm actually using my leg roller as a tripod on this camera right now, but here's me doing a little bit of prehab. So that was the first one, and I think it is literally one of the most important things because once you get an injury, you've got an injury, and it's so hard to get rid of it when you're trying to train at the same time, especially if you have to basically just not run and miss weeks of training. Prehab is so important, and that's something I really learned last time because I had a lot of issues with my Achilles and I also had a lot of issues with my IT band. I wasn't doing the strength work and I wasn't doing the rolling or anything like that. Celebrate small wins and don't beat yourself up if you fail a run. I kept telling myself that I was failing runs at the start if I didn't complete the distance, or if I didn't quite get the pace, or if I stopped on a run or anything like that, but that isn't a failure. So just cut out the word failure in your running and your training progress. And yeah, celebrate the small wins. Like if you finish a really long run and you're like, whoa, I just ran that distance and that's the furthest I've run, or I just my fastest 1 kilometer or 500 meters, or any just small things like that. Just celebrate every win, because training for a marathon is so long and it can be so hard. So it's really nice just to touch base with yourself and celebrate the small wins. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Me wrapped up in a duvet. Sleep is so important. My main goal is to try and get about 8 hours a night. I tend to get around 7 hours a night. And then I put join a run club. They can help with conversational runs, meeting new people to train with. I heard stay in it is the best. Joining a run club, I think, is a really good idea, just because it helps bring that social side of your training. It's also really nice for those conversational easy runs, because when you're trying to do a conversational run by yourself, sometimes you find that you're picking up the pace and not running as slow and in a zone 2 heart rate. Whereas if you're actually running with people and talking, then that kind of locks you into that conversational pace naturally. Consistent easy runs that actually are easy. So yeah, back on those easy runs. Sauna and ice baths. These can be expensive and probably not accessible for everyone. There is an ice bath and sauna place near to where we live, and we used to have a membership to it, but then it just got too expensive. But every now and then, treating yourself to a sauna or an ice bath is really good. Prioritize listening to your body over any pace goal on your plan. Don't push yourself further than what your body wants to do. I think mentally you can really try and push yourself, but physically I really don't think you should push your body over any pace goal on your plan, because you don't want to get injured, and you know your body more than anyone else. So I think it's really important just to prioritize listening to your body. I always fuel before my runs. You've heard me talk about glycogen levels before, and that is what your body relies on to complete a run. If you're running out of your glycogen stores from fueling kind of the night before or the morning before, then you're going to feel really sluggish and rubbish on your runs. So fuel before your runs, it's really important. It can give you that energy boost, that mental boost, helps you feel stronger, it stabilizes your blood sugar, and it supports recovery as well. So there's loads of reasons why you should fuel for your runs, but it's basically an energy source to help you on your runs. Make sure to eat high protein meals for recovery post exercise. I have lots of inspo on my feed, so yeah, you want to be getting that protein in, because that's what aids recovery post running. So before running, carbs, post running, protein for recovery. Make sure you get weekly speed session in. Stay in it. Track nights, I love that for my speed sessions. I actually hate doing speed sessions alone now that I've experienced going to track nights. So I would really recommend going to track nights. They're so much fun, and I find it easier just to stick to the pace, which I've said in these vlogs before. Run with friends to help make runs more enjoyable, especially long runs. So that I've spoken about that kind of when I spoke about the joining a run club for conversational running, but also just to like bring the enjoyment into running, make long runs fun. Everyone forgets about strength work. I make sure to strength train twice a week. Well, now I do. So yeah, get that strength work in so your body is strong enough to carry you on your runs. You're putting a lot of impact on your body when you're running, so strength is really important. Carb load before long runs, which I've mentioned. Take rest days seriously, because your body needs to rest and recover. So when you have a rest day, take that seriously and make sure you are allowing your body to rest and recover so it can be back at 100% to then train again. Stay hydrated, lots of water, coconut water, electrolytes when needed. So you guys always see me drinking my coconut water or electrolytes. When you're sweating out that salt, you need to put it back into your body, and compression if possible. Cal and I are really lucky because Cal got gifted some compression boots. They are a size large, so they're massive on me, but they still work for me. But compression boots are really expensive. I know some gyms sometimes have them and you can rent them out and use them for half an hour or whatever. Finally, but most importantly, mindset work. Always try and remind myself that no one is forcing me to do this. It's a privilege to be able to go out and run. And I've never regretted going on a run, but I have definitely regretted missing a run on my plan when there wasn't like a valid reason for missing it. Obviously, like if I'm injured or if I'm ill or things like that, but if I just can't be asked, running is such a mental game, so getting your like mindset in check is really important as well. But yeah, they're my tips that I shared last week. I really enjoyed doing that post. I will see you on a campsite in Bedfordshire in the next clip. Good morning. I have woken up in a tent this morning. Amy and I are at World Canvas Festival, which is a sort of wellness outdoorsy type weekend away, and they organised a tent for us with beds in, which was really cute, and we decided it would be a good idea to save my short easy run for a weekend of camping. And the weather was so nice yesterday, but it's super grey and cold this morning, and we literally just have like little shorts and sports bras. So we woke up an hour earlier than planned, and we've had so much time, but now we're literally like cutting it very fine to get out on our run. And then we've got yoga after, which will be really cute. So we just got a 5.5k.
Yeah.
We'll see what we have time to do. Like if we don't do the 0.5, we don't do the 0.5 on the plan. So we just got 5k run. Amy's found a route on Strava, so we'll see how that goes. Last time Amy found a route on Strava, it was my abroad hen do, and it was the hilliest thing ever. It was impossible. So it said flat on Strava.
We'll see.
So I would give you a tour of the tent. It's pretty messy.
Morning.
Just running across the campfield. Amy saw a sign for a public footpath, so we come through some hedge, and we're now just in a massive open field. We're basically just doing laps of a sunflower field, which is really cute actually. Well done, Amy. You have to. I'm finding this easy quite hard.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's a struggle this morning. I feel like a bit hay fevery.
Yeah, same.
I've just been sleeping outside.
And it's very uneven ground without trail running shoes. My ankle keeps just going in. Do this, go to yoga, then go to the pub. Gonna go walk and find a local pub. We're gonna try and book into paddleboarding. There's only one space left. So the weather's not giving paddleboarding anyway, to be honest. And we are done. This is our tent, by the way. Let's have a look. Okay, averaged a 6:11 pace, 5.5, running around a sunflower field. Just got back to the campsite. Yoga starting now, it's 10. Got back just in time. Just gonna fill up our water bottles. Gonna go do a stretch and cool down by a yoga class in a field. How are you feeling? No coffee.
Sad face. Not vibes. I'm feeling not vibes.
Ready to do an hour yoga class?
And why did that 6:30 pace feel like a 4:30?
No, we averaged 6:11.
Okay, 6:11 felt like 4:30. So, I don't know what's going on.